friend to me. Wage a war, wage a war, wage a war, wage a war against mediocrity. It ain't no friend to me. Wage a war, wage a war, wage a war, wage a war against mediocrity. It ain't no friend to me. Wage a war, wage a war, wage a war, wage a war against mediocrity. It ain't no friend to me.
What's up, friends and family? It's your boy, the motivational teacher to the masses, coming again to bring you another edition of these hits, high intensity training, and this shall be no different. I see John has already hit me up. Shall we break bread? In the words of one of my favorite speakers, yes, we shall. Let the bread breaking commence. I mean, I wanted to come on here last night for Motivational Monday, but the weather was so bad here in Atlanta that it did not allow for my internet connection to let me come on last night. So I wanted to make sure that I made an appearance tonight because I missed the last 2 weeks traveling, and I wanted to make sure that I was able to get on this thing tonight. I have another meeting tonight at 7 that surely is going to run past 8:30, so I couldn't hop on at my normal time, but I did want to hop on and say good afternoon and talk about some standards and expectations for your life. I'm starting to see the odds add up. John has already hit us up. Shall we break bread? Yes, sir, John. If you're out there, man, holler at your boy. Let me know that you're out there, especially on Facebook. I'm on my phone tonight, so I don't know if the Facebook messages are coming through. So if you're out there, please hit me up. Let me know. Angelique, the artist, thank you for joining us today, Angelique. Again, that's another YouTube person. So if you're out there on Facebook, hit us up. Let us know that we've gone live. And as always, please share this to your top 5 relationships. Share this to your friends. Share this to your family, because if they don't grow with you, they can't go with you. And it's crazy. I don't want to be the person unequally yoked. Oh my God, I broke bread and I haven't even started talking about standards and expectations yet. I just broke bread. We can't be unequally yoked as it relates to this journey that we're upon right now. So it behooves us, if there's somebody that you feel that is pertinent to this journey with you, tag them, send it to them, tell them to join in, because the motivational teacher can't be on here too long tonight because I have a meeting I have to go to. But however, the time I'm here, we're going to get with the bread breaking and we're going to let it commence. And I went back to Lochapoka, Alabama. I said, we going. Not we are going. I went back to Lochapoka. We gonna let the bread breaking commence. Tonight, man, I just want to pop on here for a brief moment and talk about standards and expectations. There are a lot of people that have big goals and big dreams and big visions for their life, and they have an idea what their bank account should look like. They have an idea what they believe that they should have. Excuse me. They have an idea what they believe they should have. They have an idea what they believe that marriage should look like. They have an idea of the pattern or the pathway to their success. They have all of these ideas of what great looks like, but really it's confused about what it takes in order to pull that through. Like we have this perfect body that we want, these 6-packs, which I don't have right now. I'm working toward it. But we want this perfect body that where we got muscles bulging, and ladies want that body that's just a pot out. And we got all of these desires that we want out of this world. Break bread, and I'm gonna break bread tonight. We have all of these desires, but our desires can't be greater than our standards. I'm breaking bread already. Our desires can't be greater than our standards. I want the 1% wealth, but I don't want to be in a position where I have to learn, grow, and develop to be in a place where I get the 15% wealth or the 81st% wealth. I want all these different things, but my standards do not match that of a person who has attained those things, has attained that dream, has attained. I remember Tyler Perry telling his story about sleeping in cars, and he'll go work a job for a little while, and then he would go work the job, get all the money he needed, quit the job, and go back and put Tyler Perry production back on again. And he did that for years before he ever got a break. Why? Because his standard was that of, I will give all that I have to attain this goal. And see, until we get to the point that we're willing to sacrifice beyond where it hurts, we're not really committed to that thing as much as we think we are. If we're not willing to go without in order to feed vision and give life and breathe air into those goals and those dreams, sometimes we might not be where we think we should be because our personal standards are not that high. Motivational teacher, break bread. Personal standards are principles, values, and expectations that individuals set for themselves. Your mama can't give you your standard. Your grandmama can't give you your standard. Your pastor, your boss, your spouse, your children cannot give you your, I'm going somewhere tonight. Our desires, come on, Angelique, our desires can't be greater than our standards. So just for that, I gave you. Come on, bro. I appreciate it. Your personal standards are individual set by individual, and it's set by yourself. It is set by you. That's why I can't be afraid and I can't complain and I can't create a huge stir when my standards are lower than my goals and my dreams. Because if I set my standards here, and my dreams are here, I'll never attain more than what my standards will allow. My behaviors, my attitude, my mind, my thought, my will, my emotions are not greater than what my standards are. And I set those expectations for myself. Now, who do I allow to influence my expectations? It's completely different. Who do you allow to influence your standards or your expectations of yourself in your life? That's a bread breaking moment, because I don't believe any of us were born with a set. Let me rephrase that. I don't think any of us created our standards without the influence of our environment. And our environment, a lot of times, determine what we believe our level of expectation or what our standards can be. I break bread. I'll give you an example. If you grew up in a house where you never saw a good marriage, and mom and dad fussed and fight, and auntie and her husband next door fussed and fight, and then cousin down the road fussed and fight, that environment says that my picture of marriage is fussing and fighting, and now I have to decide, do I want that marriage? My standard and expectation was set by my environment. I'm breaking bread right now. And a lot of us have our standards and our expectations versus us setting them for ourselves. We've allowed our environment, we've allowed our culture, we've allowed our peer influences to set those expectations for our own lives. See, your standard guides your behaviors. It guides your decisions. It guides your interaction. Your behaviors can never outperform your standards. Motivational teacher, I want to be great at something. Where do I start? On your standards. Hey, Pat, thanks for joining us. I see Facebook in the house now. Where do I start? Motivational teacher, I want to become great in this area. Where do I start? Your standards. You start with your standards. I want $1 million, motivational teacher. I want to get to where I want to be $1 million. Where do I start? On your standards. How proficient are you with $100? Don't talk about $1 million if you're not proficient with 100. The seed is always within itself. Motivational teacher, I want the marriage that look like the Cosbys on TV. Motivational teacher, I want the Winslow's marriage from Family Matters. Where do I begin? With your standards. You start with your standards. I know you heard other motivational speakers, sorry, not teachers, motivational speakers told you how hard you got to go at it. I know you've heard them talking about how many mentors you have to get. I'm not saying that you don't need those things, but I'm saying we got to start with our standards. We got to start with our standards. We can't confess, and I'm gonna say this, and all y'all Christians might get mad at me. We can't confess Boaz blessings, and we got a Rahab life. Oh my God, I'm breaking bread right now. I want the best the kingdom has to offer, but my work ethic and my attitude and my belief system toward men says that they're all dogs. It says that these men are not any good. but I want a Boaz, but my perception of what a man is does not equal that as a Boaz, you'll never attract one. You attract what you are. If you want to attract something different, if you want something more, raise your standards, your expectations. I got some people chiming into this conversation. Angelique, the artist, just said on YouTube, I heard recently we fall into our financial standards based on our influences, and unless we consciously address them and make a shift, we'll keep the same financial standard. Angelique, the artist, you just broke bread. Nothing, I don't care, and I'm gonna say this, I don't care how much you pray, I don't care how many Hail Marys you throw around, until you upgrade your standards, nothing can change. Why do you say that, motivational teacher? Because the seed is always within itself. Will God do miracles? Yes, God does miracles. But we don't want to live from miracle to miracle, because that means that we are in poverty. If we're living from miracle to miracle, we want to get to the place where our standards and our expectations are so high that we begin to attract those things through the grace of God, through God's, in him we live, move, and have our being. Everything we do is connected to him, but do our standards match that of his? If you want more money, become a better steward of the money. I remember my wife and I, we were living in a small town in South Georgia. We didn't really have 2 nickels. We had just spent everything we had to get married. I had been laid off. We had to move to take a job, which we didn't have a down payment for a house. So we ended up renting, and we had just had a baby. We went to a city that we didn't really know, and we started from ground zero. We started on Dave Ramsey Money Management. Beans and rice and beans. We did the Dave Ramsey envelope system until we learned how to manage our cheese. Now, we were tithers before. We were first fruit offers. We were doing all of that before, but we didn't start having a surplus until we start managing what we have. And some of us are running from the idea that my mindset, my lifestyle determines my abundance. You said it right, Pat. Can you handle your abundance? But my mindset and my lifestyle and my standards that I accept for my life determines whether I can manifest. Number one, manifest the abundance, but then can I handle it? To me, in an area that you want superior manifestation, increase your standards, because they guide your behaviors. These standards guide the behaviors, decisions into action, and they reflect what someone would consider to be morally, ethically, and personally important. All of this is about your standards. It's about you leveling up who you are in life. Oh my God, that's a bread-breaking moment. It seems so clear. It seems so clear that if and for so long we've been told that the answer is in doing. If I want more, to really be busy with your hands and do more. I'm telling you that the increase is not in doing more, it's in becoming more, because if I become more, they become what God might do. But because we've never had it, because we've never had mentors, because we've never had people, I'm telling you, most people in our circle are just like us. They tell us, I gotta go get a second job. And the second job might be the answer for some of you all. I'm not saying it's not. Or they says that I gotta go over here and I gotta do these 4 or 5 things more. And the answer is always become. I love the book Michelle Obama wrote, Becoming. Because as I grow internally, I attract what I'm looking for externally. I always say it like this. And I was talking to one of my friends this week, and we talked about what's the balance between work and believe. Hey, Brandy, the disconnect. Thanks for joining us tonight. I was talking to one of my friends, and we talked about what's the balance between the work we have to do and the belief we have to do. Like I'm sitting here talking about upgrading and raising your standards, and they guide your behaviors, your thinking, your emotions. And I'm sitting here and I'm having this conversation, but it's not disconnected. I'm gonna use that word because I got the disconnector on here, but that is not disconnected from our belief. See, let me show you how these two are intercorrelated, because there's a big disconnect. I'm gonna use it again, from how I'm gonna use Christians, or how we believe God for increase and not our work for increase. But we got to do the work for increase, and we got to believe God to bring it in. Motivational teacher, what is the balance? Oh, y'all came to the right place today. And all the spiritual folks might find a problem with this, and then there's some non-spiritual folk that might find a problem with this as well, which means I'm somewhere in the middle of the house. See, I say that the balance is this: without faith, it's impossible to please God. Can y'all agree with me? Can y'all agree with me out there? Write agreed in the chat box if you agree with me. Without faith, it's impossible to please God. You can't come to him unless you know he is. All right? I'm going to break bread right now. So in God, I live, I move, and I have my being. Without faith, it's impossible to please God, right? And God, and check this out now. The seed, I'm walking it down. The seed is always within itself. So here we go. If the seed is within itself, and it's impossible to please God without faith. So even when I go and I upgrade my standards, and I upgrade my expectation, when I upgrade my beliefs, me upgrading me is in response to, I believe, if without faith it's impossible, that God has put something more in my future, that God has called me to a much higher calling, that I believe that God has given me so much special that I'm willing to work when I don't see the belief. I mean, when I don't see what I think I've been called to. And so we even work by faith. Without work, what is it? Faith without works is dead, being alone. Our work, oh my God, I feel this with everything in me. All of our work should be rooted in faith, that I believe that God is going to deliver an opportunity to me in due season, that I must be prepared for, to answer the call in that season. I'm breaking bread right now. See, I'm going somewhere I ain't have on my notes tonight. But since we here, let the motivational teacher break bread. You believe I work in the dark, not knowing where my opportunity is, but believing God that there is a ram in the bush. There's an opportunity that he's going to give me a how one day. I'm breaking bread right now. So I will work in the dark. I love it this way. The Bible said Jesus was found somewhere between 12 and 30. He was finding himself in the scripture. What was he doing? Motivated? He was working. And then he had his 3-year journey. What was he doing? He was working. He worked 30 years for a 3-year journey. What was he doing? He was working by faith. Now, how do we, even if I believe, my belief is not seen. Okay, let me say, my belief is not seen in what I say. Oh my God, it's a breaking moment. Because this tongue we can make say anything. A man's heart, who knows it? My belief is not seen in what I say. The belief is seen in what I do. That's a breaking moment right there. The belief is shown that in my standards. If I believe that I've been called higher, my standards would be just a little bit higher than someone who doesn't believe. How do we intersect at work and faith? Oh my God, that's a breaking moment. How the intersection between work and faith is one word, is called belief. Without faith, it's impossible to please him. So I do the work. I don't complain about it. I ain't gonna whine about it. I ain't gonna cry about it. I ain't gonna have no pity party about doing the work, because I'm working by faith. Oh my God, that's a breaking moment. I'm working by faith, believing that an opportunity will be prepared for me. I believe that there's a table prepared for me right now. I believe that there's a day where I'll be on the stage, and I've seen it already. I believe that there's a day that I'll be on the stage, and I'll sit back to this moment when I had to talk to a phone, when I had to look at me in the mirror and have the same amount of grit, and have the same amount of vigor, and have the same amount of fight that I would in front of 55,000. I gotta have. If not, if I'm on here and I'm lukewarm, I'm cheating. I'm cheating the system. My belief system is not where. If I am lukewarm in my presentation, my belief and my standards are not where they need to be, and what I believe God is preparing me for. I can't cut corners because I'm being prepared for something much greater than I. Oh my God. I gotta live from the place of not what I see today. I gotta live from the place I've been called to higher. My standards gotta match that of the higher calling, of the higher vision, of the higher dream, of the higher gifting. I can't live on the level today that's brought me what I see now. The way we live now is because of our current standards, our current expectation, our current beliefs, our current behaviors. We live on that level now because that's where our standards have brought us. In order for me to move from here to here, I have to increase my standards to here, and then the rest of life will follow it. Bread, broken, motivational teacher. Bread, broken, motivational teacher. The artist said, if I believe I am called to higher, I live from a higher standard. Will said Angelique, the artist. Pat said, the seed has been planted. Now work the grounds to reap the harvest. I love it. John said, and chosen ones. I love that, Pat, that the seed has been planted. Guess what? We all have a seed that's been planted. The way we see the fruit is we have to till the ground. You cannot reap a harvest from a ground that has not been tilled. And a lot of people are looking for manifestation, and they're looking for fruit in areas of their life where they have not upgraded their standards. That's a bread breaking moment. I'm going to say this: nothing just happens. Oh my God. I know they said the big bang boom and it happened. I'm telling you, that ain't how it happened. I'm telling you that nothing just happens. That there is a cause and effect to everything under the sun. There is a cause and effect to everything under the sun. If you're not where you want to be, you got to check the cause. You got to check the cause. If you check the cause and realize the cause, then you can always get a greater effect. But what do humans do? Mere humans work from effect back. Well, I ain't getting what I want, so let me go try to fix another way for me to get it. No, no, no. I didn't get the promotion, not because I'm black, not because I'm 6'7", not because I'm overweight or underweight, not because I'm male or female. Maybe I didn't get the promotion because my standards and my expectations are not at the par. Maybe I don't show up on time all the time. Maybe I'm not that tight when it comes to whatever that job requires. Maybe I need to spend more time in the lab developing in these areas, so the next time when my opportunity comes, my standards and my expectations are up to par with not where I am today, but what they're asking me to do. I will say this: if you're up for promotion and you are not already doing the job, the chances are you're not going to get it. Let me save you some time working on your resume. Let me save you some time working. Oh, but God can do anything but fail. Yep, he sure can. He gave you time, space, opportunity to prepare. And you failed, not God. Not God. You failed because you didn't take that time, that space, and that gap to increase you, to increase your standards, to increase your expectation, to increase your work. Yeah, God can do anything but fail. You are absolutely right, but you can fail you daily. It's a bread breaking moment right there. Let me get back to some of these notes. I'm so far off of them, I don't even know where to start back. Standards guide behaviors, decisions, interactions, and reflect what someone considers to be morally and ethically and personally important. This is why I want to go right here. Personal standards can cover a wide range of areas: relationships, work, health, integrity, communication. I'm telling you, your standards feed every area of your life. That's a bread breaking moment. And that's why I tell my kids all the time. My son wants to be, a high school standout. He wants to be a college athlete, and he wants to be a professional basketball player. I say, son, now his work ethic is on par on the court. But I said, you cannot be a top 1%er and take your dirty clothes off and step over them in the bathroom on your way out. Because how you do anything is how you do everything. You can't be like a D1, a top 5 draft pick, and your room looked like a tornado came through it the morning before. I'm telling you, you can't be, John, it's true. It's true, John. You should get in shape. You should get in shape. Somebody is a pair of shape. We should get in shape because in order to do what God is calling you to do, you need stamina. You need stamina. You need discipline in your thinking. Does my son picking up his dirty clothes or keeping his room clean have anything to do with his physical basketball? It does not have anything to do with the physical basketball, but it tells me a lot about his mindset. Like, is my mind working when I get out the shower, or do I get to a point where I believe my room is too dirty and I have to clean it because it tells me about his mindset? Will he be willing to do things that he don't want to do? Man, most of the things that I have to do in life is not because I enjoy doing them. It's because I have to do them. And because I have to do them, I do it with the utmost standard because I know those areas are tied to my ultimate manifestation. And so, yeah, I say, hey, man, hey, top 5 draft picks, rooms don't look like that. Hey, man, you will sit over there in that seat, top 5 draft picks. Their floorboards don't look like that. They got discipline in their thinking. They got discipline in their minds because that's what it takes to make it. Your standards and expectations guide your life. Can I be a 10 standard in my work and a 2 standard in my marriage? You can be, but I promise you, at some point, those two will collide, and your marriage going to determine that you can't be a 10 on your work, and your work going to determine you can't be a 10 on your marriage. So what I got to do, motivation, you got to upgrade your standard in all the areas of your life. You can't be a 10 at work and a 2 in your marriage. I'm just telling you, it's a false balance. A false balance is an abomination. There's no way you can be a 10 in one area and a 2 in another one. You got to upgrade your standards. Your standards guide your whole life. If you are a 10 at work and a 2 in marriage, it's just a matter of time before you become a 4 and a 4. Because I promise you, if your standards are low in your marriage, it's going to drag your performance down at work. And then if your performance is dragged down at work, you're a 4 at work. And now you're 2 at home. So now your total output should be 20 and you at a 6, and they're both going to crumble. How you know, motivational teacher? Because I got the t-shirt and the hat. You got to upgrade, Angelique, thank you, across the board. Because standards, again, there are principles. I love Miles Monroe because Miles Monroe said that's something people can't argue against. He said, I don't preach sermons, I teach principles. People can't argue against principles. Principles are right in Africa. Principles are right in the Bahamas. Principles are right in the United States. Principles are universally the same no matter where you go. And so he said, I teach principles because they are the same. And I'm telling you this, your personal standard is a principle no matter what area of your life you're diving into. I'm telling you, you can't be a 10 in basketball and a 3 in the cleanliness of your house. I can't be a 10 as a people leader on my job and then a 2 as a people leader in my home with my wife and my kids. It's just a matter of time before those two collide, and I'm average to below average at both. I'm breaking bread tonight. And some of us have been trying to rob Peter to pay Paul in our standards. And our life is starting to look bankrupt because we can't afford to pay Peter. And now we can't afford to pay Paul. And now we're looking at our lives and we're wondering, like, what happened? What happened is you didn't apply standards across the gambit. I'm telling you, I see it. I coach. and I counsel to it every day. I counsel to it every day. Well, she don't treat me right, or he don't treat me right. Well, my boss don't like me. Or well, in every instance, I gotta get off this thing, y'all. In every instance where I'm having these conversations, it's always the area where people don't take responsibility. Thank you, Pat. And accountability, where they have the lowest standard, where they believe that subconsciously that somebody else externally determines what that standard is in that area of their life. Never give the power of your standard over to anybody in your life. Your standard is your standard because it is your standard. Well, they don't appreciate what I do, so I just do enough to get by. Come on, man. Your personal standard won't allow you just to do enough to get by because they allow you to do it. And I tell my family at my house, at my address, our personal standard is always excellence. When I clean the house, I clean it in excellence. When my kids, hey, did you do that in excellence? Even my wife, when she does, did you cook that in excellence? Or did we rush to try to just get it on the table? How did we perform? Did we do it in excellence? That's the standard at my house is excellence. I'd rather you be late. I'd rather you be late and give an excellent product than for you to be on time with some slop. I'm telling you, don't allow your standards to be compromised based on nobody's belief or perception of you. I'm breaking bread. Appreciate that, Angelique. I'm breaking bread tonight, man. I got to get ready to go in this meeting. But I bet you I got 30 more minutes on this same topic, man, because I'm so passionate. As I begin to learn, grow, and study, I'm starting to realize that my personal standards really are what determines my outlook. God is going to provide the opportunity, but my personal standards determine how I show up to that opportunity. My personal standards in the time when I don't have the opportunity determines how I show up when I do have the opportunity. And many of us haven't met that cross section where belief and works collide. And until we get to that place where we see that they're both necessary, then we will always be robbing Peter to pay Paul, barely getting by. Robbing Peter to pay Paul is not a sustainable strategy. At some point, they both are broke. At some point, you can't give 10 to your job and give 2 to your house. You can't give 10 to your kids and give 4 to your husband or 4 to your wife. You can't give 15 or 12 to your business and give 6 or 5 to your house. It's that model is unsustainable. It's just a matter of time before they bleed into one another and you're average to below average in both. If anything, upgrade your standards across the board. Upgrade you. Upgrading your standard. Thank you, Pat. Upgrading your standard is upgrading you. Where's the 2.0 version of you? What does that 2.0 version of you look like? I'm gonna have to do it, Angelique. I'm gonna continue this conversation next week because I'm supposed to be in this building at 6:30, y'all. I'm still sitting in this car doing all this talking. I see people walking in. So I'm gonna have to get out this car because I got some other people waiting on me to come in live and break a little bread. I'm gonna break a little bread live today. That's why I got my little collared shirt on today. To give a little encouraging talk. But I had to pop on, man, because I missed the last 2 weeks and I couldn't come on last night because of the storm. And you see the clouds out here tonight. So I had to pop on before this next band of rain came in. But I did want to tell you all, thank you all so much for chiming in to this conversation. And if you would, please tag a friend, share this to a friend, include a friend, tell them to get on this thing because I do believe that these words are life changing. I'm talking from someone who grew up in it was 3 of us in a single wide, it was 8 of us in a 3-bedroom single wide trailer, and there was other people coming in and out the whole time. And I'm telling you about standards. And from that 3-bedroom trailer, like I guarantee you, it's now 12 degrees that came from that trailer that some were perceived as not perceived, like we didn't have money. The trailer wasn't in the greatest shape. We didn't always have heat. We didn't always have light. But from that, like I would love to just run down what my cousins and what my aunts and what everybody's doing that were born in the house. So don't let your environment, don't let your conditions, don't let your external people, don't let them determine your standards. You own your standards. You own your expectations. You own your vision, your dreams, your goals for your life. Don't give that power away to anybody else. And until next time, I'm challenging you to wage war on mediocrity. Your boy is out.
It ain't no friend to me. Wage a war, wage a war.